Everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information.
MTN. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi. We're on Love 99.5 FM. We're on Dreams FM and A1 Radio in Bogatanga, Lolonyu FM in Hohoe. We're on Kekeli Radio in Ho. Radio Wa in Wa and Radio Somali also in Wa. You can go digital on Spotify, Facebook and myjoyonline.com app this afternoon.
How can you just do that? It's fundamental right of us. We need lights.
I've gone around so many places and I've come here to look for a credit, but I'm not getting the credit. So because of that, we have stopped work. We can even lose about 10,000 a day.
Power consumers still struggling to recharge their prepaid meters despite assurances by the ECG that the network outage which affected its vending systems has been fixed. We are live in Accra and Kumasi where consumers are frustrated about the days without power. We have an update on an ECG news conference scheduled to take place later this hour. But how true are claims that the system was hacked by some ECG workers?
When we are through with the editing of our systems and we have any proof that is being done by any member, we have policies, we have laws. Those laws and policies will apply.
Also, Ghana Water Company shuts down its two main treatment plants in the eastern region following the weekend's flooding.
Because of the heavy rains and the resultant flooding situation in our plant at Achimoda and the one that we have in there's one in Kofodia, the Desu old plants. Because of that, we've shut down these two plants.
Love News investigations reveal jaw-dropping pollution of some of the country's major water bodies by illegal miners.
When I see these things, I ask myself, who are behind this?
Because it's very, very dirty. And the river meandering to the nature one has been changed. Now the river boundaries are widened.
We hear from a former executive secretary of the Water Resources Commission who says water from these sources have been simply rendered useless as it costs so much to treat.
Then it means you need to do a lot in terms of treatment to be able to bring it to the levels that you can use it for the purposes that you want to.
Plus, is government capable of doing something about what has obviously become an existential threat?
Therein lies the lacunae between the flowery rhetoric of representatives of the state of Ghana and their unwillingness. And it's not about capacity. This is deliberate unwillingness to respond to this challenge.
In sports,
Fred Papo does not believe the Black Stars Management Committee needs more than 3 members for the upcoming World Cup. Details later.
We have that and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Please stay for details. Many thanks for choosing us. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. There's anger and frustration as some customers of the Electricity Company of Ghana, MASAP, at some prepaid vending points unable to have their electricity prepayment meters recharged. On the ground in Accra and Kumasi, there are long queues and report of system outage despite assurances by the ECG that the problem has been fixed. Ningo Prampram MP Sam George in a Facebook post alleged that some staff of the company were responsible responsible for interruption in its system and called for forensic investigations. We are told that Facebook post has since been pulled down. But ECG planned to hold a news conference this morning to address the issues, but that has now been shifted to this afternoon. We'll bring you an update on that. First to the ground, where my colleagues Michael Ni Ashali and Emmanuel Bright Kweku have been monitoring the situation. I'll start with my colleague Michael Ashali, who's been monitoring the situation here in Accra. Michael, tell us about where you've been and what you found.
Emefa, I've roamed the areas around Kaneshi, Aveno, and its environs. Currently, I'm around Roman Ridge, very close to, just opposite the Accra Girls. And the situation is not so different from what we reported in the morning. The pressure rather keeps building up. What are we understanding now?
Well, that's my connection to Michael Ashali lost there, but he's been interacting with some consumers.
Since last Tuesday, tomorrow will be exactly 1 week. Our credits because of I've gone around so many places and I've come here this morning to look for a credit, but I'm not getting the credit. We are a comparing company. Because of that, we use industrial machines. So because of that, we have stopped work.
How bad is this for your business, the tailoring business that you do?
It has cost us a lot because people has brought their material, their things to.
In 1 week, how much would you say you have lost?
For this 7 days, we can even lost about 10,000.
My daughter tell me that, Daddy, it seems the app is on at the Avedon. That's why I have to rush to come here fast because I'm a chef. I have a lot of things there since 3 days today. It's not all that fine.
My wife is a nursing mother, about 5 months old, and then situations of mosquitoes, it's really affected us.
I'm coming from Bubuashi. I tried a vendor around my place, but it didn't work. So I had to come here myself.
It's not easy because I have to quickly rush and then come and queue and then buy my electricity.
Well, let me take you to the Ashanti region. Emmanuel Bright Kweku is also monitoring this situation. Emmanuel, my understanding is that many vending points in Kumasi are experiencing the same issues, correct? Hello, Emmanuel.
Yeah, hello.
So I'm asking about the vending points in Kumasi that you've been to. Are they also experiencing the same issues like we're reporting from Accra?
Yes, Emefa, I've been to several of these vending offices, and when you go there are lots of people queued up over there hoping that this afternoon they would have access to electricity. My interaction with some of them, they tell me they don't understand why the ECG would say the situation has been resolved. Yes, so when they go to these vending offices, they still do not have access to electricity. Some of them tell me they are losing the items they have in their fridges, their food stuff they have in their fridges. So this is a similar situation just as in Accra. It's the same here in Kumasi.
7:43. 7:43.
I came here around 7 a.m. and it's now getting to 9. I still haven't been served. The power outage is affecting my vulcanizing business. I don't even have money to buy food.
We don't have lights, we don't have nothing. What is the explanation? Nobody said nothing. We just come, stay in the queue forever, and nothing comes out. It's ridiculous. We can't continue like this. I don't understand what's going on. Something has to give. There is no light. Look at the masses of people outside praying and begging for lights. We are ready to pay for it. We are not getting anything. It's ridiculous. I can't iron my clothes. I can't charge my phone. I can't. When even food is left, we have to throw it away. I've been here to and fro. Even this morning, I've been here more than 5 times. We went to Kenti Chrono. We've been all over. Nobody's saying anything to us. How can you just do that? It's a fundamental right of us. We need lights.
Some customers in the Ashanti region, well, many of you have reached out to us with similar reports. Joseph, you've been monitoring these comments that people are sending on our social media platforms. Tell us about them.
So we posted a question on our Facebook page. We asked, have you successfully purchased electricity credits now and where? Share your experience with us. And from A. Rahman Nanyin, it says, from Asokoi Mampong Kumasi, a big no. Adnan Abdulai Ahim says, couldn't load, there's still no service in Kumasi. Nana Owusu say also from Kentin Chrono office in Kumasi said no. And Terra also replied saying, no, please, Kumasi is worse, but they say the network has been restored. It's a big lie. Please start going to vending points and ask if network has been restored. And the final one here says, my 50 cedis was stolen in the early September purchase, and I won't waste precious time going to ECG office to pursue it. They claimed my prepaid was reading negative in their system, but it didn't appear, and I'm still unable to update. That is from Amos Sena Kwaju.
Well, some of your comments there. Well, on the probe last night with me, the ECG External Communications Manager assured that the systems has been fixed. He also denied the claims that their systems had been hacked.
I saw that post. I don't have any information regarding what the Honorable Member posted. There's always auditing of systems when there are issues, which is usual of every IT institution. When we are through with the auditing of our systems, and we have any proof that is being done by any member, internal or externally, we have policies, we have laws. Those laws and policies will apply.
That's Manager in charge of External Affairs of the ECG, Charles Ni Ayiku. Let's take you now to the ECG headquarters, where the news conference is expected to come off shortly. My colleague Kweku Asante is there for us. Kweku, what's the update from the news conference?
So, this news conference was expected to start at 10 a.m. It hasn't. We understand the managing director of ECG, Mr. Dubik Mahama, is locked up in some meeting with some top government officials at the office of the president in order to resolve the situation before the media will be addressed. And so the news conference is yet to start.
Well, but I'm sure you're gleaning some issues from the ECG office while you were there, issues about the system being hacked and whether customers will be compensated as a result of where we are today. What exactly have you picked up?
So officials are very much tight-lipped about the situation. Indeed, one top official I spoke with, who did not go on record, said that the allegation that their system has been hacked is ridiculous and that this is just a normal downtime and they are working to resolve it.
That's my colleague Kweku Asante there from the ECG headquarters. That press conference, we're bringing you live coverage of it shortly here on Joy News and also on Joy 99.7 FM. But let's talk about water. And the Water Company Limited has shut down its two main treatment plants in the eastern region following the weekend's flooding. The two major water processing plants are located at Chimoda and Koforidia Densu and were flooded, making it impossible for officials of the Ghana Water Company. Correspondent Maxwell Kudeko will join us shortly, but he's been interacting with the ECG PR, the Ghana Water Company PR.
What we currently experiencing because of the heavy rains and the resultant flooding situation in our plant at Achimoda and the one that we have there's one in Kofobia, the Densu old plant. Because of that, we've shut down these two plants to even safeguard more serious consequences. And hence, when you go to Achimoda, that plant serves Achimoda and its environs, Bodua to Akotia, and then to Kade. So it means we are not producing, and it will result in water shortage in these areas. But it's as a result of the flood situation that we experienced this weekend. And Kofobia too, this old plant too has also suffered similar fate, and hence we have also shut down the plant. And now what we are waiting, the water levels, the flood water levels to recede for us to go in there and do the technical appraisal and auditing of the situation to assess the impact of the water, the flood situation on our installations and
But let me bring in my colleague Maxwell Kudeko, who is in the region for us. Let's talk about the impact of this shutdown. Maxwell, tell us about the situation.
Well, presently, water is offering in most parts of Koforidia. Before the flooding, the Water Company Limited were doing some rationing of salt, but the flooding will aggravate the situation. This has been informed by the public relations officer, the Oda and the Koforidia plant shut. But this morning, the management at the regional level did some crisis meeting to pick Plan B in order to service the situation. Now, there is one plant at Brokuno that serves part of Koforidia. So management says that they are going to depend partly on that plant to serve some part of Koforidia, Station and Jumako. But enclaves like Achimota, Asia, Bodia, and 8 surrounding communities are going to be heavily affected. So they want to go back to the wood borehole system in those enclaves.
That's my colleague Maxwell Kudeko reporting from the Eastern region. Our Love News investigations have revealed jaw-dropping pollution of some of the country's major water bodies by illegal miners. Even in the face of government's onslaught against illegal mining, the canker is eating deep into forests and water bodies with dire consequences. In this documentary, Love FM's Erastus Asaridonko traveled deep into the country's forests and hinterlands to document the level of devastation and the source of pollution for rivers and water bodies. Here are excerpts of the documentary Destruction for Gold.
Mining can create jobs, mining can improve livelihoods, and mining can generate wealth. But it cannot and must not do so at the expense of damaging the very environment that produces the riches.
Nobody provides a license for you to mine in a water body. It doesn't happen in Ghana.
When I see these things, I ask myself, who are behind this? I can't buy excavator, but the ministers and the MPs, you can do that. So we are saying, I
am prepared to put my presidency on the line on this matter.
You send soldiers after the young people. That is not the way to go.
Destruction for gold.
In 2017, the Ghana Water Resources Commission stated that about 60% of the country's water bodies were polluted. The acceptable turbidity value for drinking water is 5 nephelometric turbidity unit (NTU), while values of 80 to 150 NTU are acceptable for other water uses as appropriate. The Tano River flows 400 kilometers from Techiman in the Bono East region. The once clean fish-laden water source has now turned milky brown with little sign of life. We took a trip to Samreboy in the western region of Ghana to investigate the source of its pollution. Michael Inyebribi Tanoe was named after this river. He has been fishing here for about 40 years now.
I used to start from 6 o'clock in the evening to early in the morning, night time. I'll keep on fishing, and then during the day I have to sell the fish.
After hours of fishing today, he only caught few fishes.
This morning, the fish that I got are this. Before, the same amount of net I'm using, I can get a fish almost a basket full, very short and nice. But nowadays, the fish has become long, and the fin have been changed as if they have designed it.
Recent events, he says, have changed the course of the river and the life in it.
Because it's very, very dirty, and the river meandering to the nature one has been changed. Now the river boundaries are widened.
Well, the former Executive Secretary of the Water Resources Commission, Ben Ampoma, says the rivers captured in the documentary have almost been rendered useless as it costs so much to treat them.
For drinking water purposes, it should be less than 5. That's what it is, NTU. Now, if you have between 80 to 150 NTU values, they are acceptable for other water uses as appropriate. Now, if you look at the beer, in February 2021, it was as high as 2,390. And in February this year, it was 504. And we measured the tunnel at Lubu, which is even downstream. In February 2021, it was 503. And in February 2022, that's moved to 850.
So the 500 to 800 and the 3,000, what can it be used for?
Well, your guess is as good as mine.
Tell me, we can't use it for anything.
That's the point you are driving at. Then it means you need to do a lot in terms of treatment, be able to bring it to the levels that you can use it for the purposes that you want to.
We can hear from security analyst Professor Kwesi Ening, who says the fight against illegal mining in Ghana has been lost.
And therein lies the lacunae between the flowery rhetoric of representatives of the state of Ghana and their unwillingness. And it's not about capacity. This is deliberate unwillingness to respond to this challenge. So we initiate interministerial groups, we initiate multiple joint campaigns or individual campaigns by statutory security forces, and they don't go anywhere. And they will not go anywhere until we are bold enough to strip bare the individuals and the groups involved.
Well, the Asantehene Otumfuo say to the Second says if the security agencies are not serious about the fight against the menace, this will not end. He made these remarks when the U.S. ambassador to Ghana paid a courtesy call on him.
To me, why can't Galamsey be stopped? Because I'm sure people are also involved, that they know and have some authority somewhere, that I don't think that should be the case. So to such time that the security agencies are very serious with that, then it means we are going to just taking the face of the soil, but not going too deeper to know exactly what's happening. You have the district chief executive, you have the district security council over there, and that district there's a Galamsey going on, and you tell me we don't know who is there? Then unfortunately you are not where to be the district chief executive or the district security council there. So that is meant to be looking after the security of that district. And the constitution says the minerals under is for being held in trust for the people by the president. So whoever gave that person the license to go in should be responsible to supervise that the degradation of the land. So these are some of the things that, Your Excellency.
We can now hear from the Sector Minister Samuel Abujinapa, who says the fight must be a non-partisan one, and leaders of the ruling party cannot put their economic fortunes above the need to end Galamsey.
It cannot be right if ruling party leaders put their political or economic fortunes ahead of this fight. This fight must be above partisan politics. It must be a national fight, and it requires all of us, our collective effort, to win this noble struggle of ours. It will depend, obviously, on the leadership government to provide, which we are absolutely determined to continue to offer.
That's the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Samuel Abujinapo. Let's focus on another ministry. That's the Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration Ministry. We are told about shortage of passport booklets across the country. My colleague Blessed Soga has been monitoring that for us, joins us on the line. Blessed, what's the situation?
So as you can hear at the background, the voice of the sector minister, Shalif Ayokobuti, who's been touring some of the passport centers, ascertaining how frustrated some Ghanaians are going through the process in the wake of reports that there's a shortage of the passport booklets. But we can listen to her briefly as she addresses all the concerns of some of the people. Honorable Minister, you're live on Joy 99.7 FM. What's your assurance to Ghanaians in the wake of this report about the shortage?
What?
The shortage of the book.
Okay.
Yes. So what's your assurance to Ghanaians that you...
Well, let me assure Ghanaians that it is being sorted out by the middle of the month, of this month, in about a week or so. We should have enough to clear the backlog. And then also, end of the month, we'll have even more to take us beyond the end of the year into the first quarter of next year. And we will continue to seek the welfare of applicants and ensure that they get a good service. From what we've experienced today in talking to them, interacting with applicants, the problem is not the process, because they are all satisfied with the process. The waiting time is not long, but the issue is the booklets, their collection of booklets. Some go back many months, and I wanted to see this for myself. And I've seen it, and we'll make sure that as soon as the booklets come, we will print all, work day and night to print all the backlog, clear the backlog, so that those who want to travel can do so, or use their book passports for identity purposes can do so. But let me also say that if you have an emergency, please let us know. The OICs, the officers in charge of the pass, let them know, because we've made provision for those who have emergencies to be issued with. We have some booklets there
But it's not enough to cover the full backlog that we have, which is why we're not rationing, but we put out weekly a certain number until, God willing, around the 13th when we receive enough to take us into the end of it.
So finally, you have given some marching orders to your officials. What are them immediately to deal with?
Well, first of all, I've asked that the Accra Park especially, we spruce the place up because it's not user-friendly at all. I mean, the toilets, the sheds, the environment is not the best. So I've asked that we work that quickly.
That's the Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration Minister Shelley Ayoko-Botwe there, interacting with my colleague Blessed Suga on the shortage of passport booklets across the country. Taking us on a quick break here on the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra and Kumasi, on Love 99.5 FM. When we return, we have sports, and then I'll take you to Boko, where the National Media Commission is threatening to close down radio stations for fueling the conflict there.
The Commission would say this very publicly, that everything is on the table, including closing down the radio station if it becomes necessary. We are ready to work with all relevant agencies that there is peace in Boko.
I bet you thought you've seen it all. You must have thought you've watched it all. Gomorrah is a new exciting series about the conflict that rises between the wealthy and the poor. Watch Gomorrah exclusively on Aquaba Magic, DSTV channel 150, Go TV channel 101, and Aquaba Magic Ebusian, DSTV channel 149, and Go TV channel 108. With as little as 50 Ghana cedis on DSTV access and 25 Ghana cedis on Go TV value. Gomorrah.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Tahiru Fentio is here with sports.
That's right. And as another FIFA World Cup approaches, there is raging debate on the constitution of the Black Stars Management Committee. There are currently 7 members of the committee charged with managing the affairs of the national team. But Fred Papo, who was Black Stars Management Committee chairman at the 2006 World Cup in Germany, has told Joy Sports not more than 3 people are required for the job.
I do not think any number beyond 3 would be necessary.
Okay.
For me, I think a 3-member.
At the time when you were in charge, it was more than 3.
For a long period of time. We started as a World Cup committee. They formed the World Cup committee. I think we were about 15 or so. It had all manner of business magnates and the rest, tycoons. At that time, the football people were agitating that, look, the management committee was supposed to be a preserve and a function of football people. You guys just stay back. So they went ahead and then formed the 5-member management committee. After the South Africa game, a problem erupted between 2 of our members, and the 2 dignified gentlemen decided to resign. So we're left with 3 members. Then the 3rd member, unfortunately, somewhere along the line, made some very unsavory remarks, and the FA decided to ban him from football activities for some time. So we're left with 2, myself and Owayene Champo. That was from the 3rd March or so.
That's former Black Stars Management Committee Chairman Fred Papo.
Thank you very much, Fentio. Now, the National Media Commission is accusing some radio stations in the Boko municipality of fueling the conflict in the area. The NMC says its checks suggest some panelists, with the support of owners of the radio stations, are preaching hate, inciting and feuding factions to fight. We can hear from George Sapong.
In one of our interactions recently, we had a particularly emotional situation where somebody and the uncle working in 2 different radio stations, sited in different parts of the town, were sharing with us that they had not seen each other in the last 10 months because each one of them is also connected one way or the other to some other faction. And they don't feel safe to travel to the other part of town where either the nephew or the uncle is. And these are people who are managing radio stations.
Well, we know that residents and businesses are unsure when the next attack will take place and are now finding their way out of the town. Last week, the Conference of Heads of Basic Schools in Boko demanded the closure of schools there. We are also told now that the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, NET, has become the latest institution to shut down its operations in Boko in the Upper East region. Now, this weekend, we had exhibitors and patrons of the 2022 edition of the Love FM Habitat Fair excited about the outcome of the 3-day event. With the expectations met, many would want the fair repeated at least quarterly to enable them easily shop for their building needs. Nana Ojima was there. Here's his wrap.
The 3-day event brought together players in the building industry, making the grounds a one-stop shop for all building materials and home appliances. Many who patronized the fair were thrilled by the variety of products and services offered for sale. Security products for homes, convenient mortgages, modern roofing, among others, were toasts of the patrons.
What I'm seeing here, I like it. I was here last year, and I'm here this year too. But I can tell you that there is the advanced version or the upgraded version of the Love FM Habitat Fair.
Oh, I must say, so far so good. It's been a very good session. Since we came in, we've got a lot of potential customers have been here, and we are happy with that. So far, it's been good, as I mentioned. Yeah.
Mostly people don't know about paint until they come close to it. So I can see people walking around, and when they see paint, they walk in and they want to have experiences and they want to know more about it. So it's good.
And that's not all. We also had Big Chef over the weekend and the biggest kids cookery television reality show on Joy Prime. Big Chef is getting exciting each week as the contestants pull up surprises. If you haven't watched it yet, make sure that you catch Big Chef on Joy Prime. And that's how we end today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. A rather sad news there. Veteran actor Echo Blankson has passed on. And then also Chairman Wuntumi says, I'm not into Galamsey. Wear sharper glasses. Open your mind wider to take needed actions on Galamsey. Minority tells Jinapo. That and more on myjoyonline.com.